Hello, sixth graders. I'm just going to spend a few minutes going over the guidelines and directions for this project that you're going to do titled One Point Perspective City Street. Okay? So just follow along with me. I also provided this document for you. The first step is to watch this video right now. So good job. You already got number 1 done. Number 2, watch the video titled 6th Grade One Point Perspective Road, Final Demonstration, Practice, and Project. It is a long video. Sorry about that. You don't have to watch it all at once, okay? You can break it down into chunks. Draw along with the video to create a basic city street using one-point perspective rules. You don't need to draw the unique building features or details I've included in my example in the video, but I want you to watch how I do those different features so that you can follow those same rules and create the features that you want to create in your city scene. This assignment is considered a final project, so I want you to treat it serious like we normally treat final projects, okay? It's not just a practice this time. This is where you really put in lots of effort to make it as nice and correct and as creative as possible. I need you to remember the rules of one-point perspective. So typically in one-point perspective you need a horizon line, and this line equals the viewer's eye level. So we're the viewers of the scene, so that horizon line is our eye level that we're seeing the scene at. You need a vanishing point, and this equals the point in the distance where objects appear to disappear. So they go so far away from us that they look like they disappear. And then the object lines, so the buildings and the road and the different things, they usually, almost always, lead in one of 3 directions, okay? So one direction is completely horizontal. The other direction is completely vertical. And then the last one is to the vanishing point. So not just diagonal lines that go wherever you want them to go diagonally, but they have to go to the vanishing point. Number 4, make the artwork your own by changing and adding the shapes of buildings to make them more unique and different. Add other things in the scene, like in my example I show making a mailbox and a person. Add creative architectural details to each building. Along with these details, think about the things buildings almost always have and the things that are usually visible. Windows are usually visible, and almost every building that I've seen has windows. Doors. These things are not always a part of buildings, but they're different details that you can add to make your artwork more interesting and unique and creative. Canopy overhangs over entryways, street signs, trash cans, mailboxes, building signs, bricks, siding, blocks, wood trim, people, adding a background, mountains, trees, distant buildings. And then what else? There's so many possibilities. I didn't make a full list of things that you could add to this scene. I want you to be creative and think of your own ideas. Number 5, shade the picture. I want you to think about the finished quality of the entire artwork. So think all different areas, not just the buildings, but all different areas. The background, the road, the sidewalk, the buildings too, the sky. You need to shade the artwork, and shading involves shadows. Shadows help objects appear more three-dimensional, so that makes them actually look round and solid. And it also makes them look like they are actually taking up three-dimensional space. You can shade with a pencil or colors or both. And if you're using colors, you're just going to have to use the things that you have available at home. And not everything is shaded, but a lot of things are colored too. So like the sky might be something that's colored, but we don't really think of it as being shaded, because the sky, we don't think of that as being a three-dimensional object. But those are still things that you need to think about. How to turn it in. Before I tell you how to turn it in, I want you to remember that we're in fourth quarter now. We had a couple of weeks that were kind of in between third quarter and fourth quarter. That's a fuzzy period of time. But now we're in fourth quarter. Assignments are graded, points are earned, much like you're used to in class. So how do you turn it in? I want you to take a good photo of your artwork. A good photo is close up, so zoom in. You don't have to be like, you have to be able to focus, but you can zoom in on the artwork so doesn't have a lot of background space. A good photo requires the artwork have good lighting, so if it's in a room, it should be really well lit. But outside sunlight and light from windows is really good because it really fills the area. So that's good as well. Phone cameras are good to use, most of them. I'm not so sure about the webcam on your Chromebook. I don't know if those are very easy to focus and get good quality pictures, so I'd recommend not using your Chromebook. Then post that picture to the assignment in this Google Class. You can do this by clicking on the button within the assignment marked Add or Create. Once you do that, you find the file that's the picture of your artwork and you attach it. So it might require that you get your photograph onto your Chromebook in order to do that. So you might have to email it to yourself or something. Then click the assignment as being done. Mark as done. Please, please, please don't email them to me. Don't email final artworks, because those just get buried and lost and it's harder to deal with them and I lose track of them. By putting it into the Google Class in the assignment, I can keep it all there in the place where it needs to be, and I can see it. And I can always go back to it and look and grade, and I can also have feedback with you by having private messages over that assignment to give feedback and stuff, and for you to ask questions, that kind of thing. If you have to, if you have no other choice, you can still send it through the bus mail, but that is not a preferred method. I would really rather you not send it through the bus mail, because again, it's more effort, it might get damaged, then I have to organize it when it gets here. So it's just way, way easier if you attach the photo to the assignment in the Google Class. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay? Almost done with this sheet. How can you get feedback while you're working? Well, that's when you can email me a picture if you want to. That's not you're not turning it in when you do that. You're just sending it to me and asking a question. You're trying to get feedback like, is this thing that I just did correct? And I can email you back and say, yes, it is correct, or no, but you should try this to make it correct, that kind of thing, okay? Rubric criteria. Rubric is the grading sheet, right? So this is not formatted and organized like a rubric, but these are the items that are going to go into the rubric. So these are the things that you need to think about, along with everything else that I just talked about. But this is kind of broken down a little bit more simply. So here's what you really need to try to do. Neat, clean, careful drawing lines and details. No extra lines. So when you're drawing and doing 1 point perspective, you end up having extra lines. Sometimes you need to erase the ones that don't belong anymore. Correct 1 point perspective. So you're really trying to understand how 1 point perspective works and to draw the details and features of buildings and the road and other objects correctly, having the lines go in the correct direction and attaching to the correct spots. And so you might need my help with that. So you have to email me, you have to get advice, okay? Complete use of the picture space. No big empty areas, okay? So think about the whole artwork. Each building has features and details. Don't just turn in buildings that have no details or features. It just looks like a box. You need to add something to it to make it look like a building. And think about the whole building. All parts of the building that you can see would probably have some kind of features or details involved with them. You should have multiple buildings, not just one building in your city street. Artwork is shaded either with pencil or colors that you have at home. Shading is complete, controlled, and detailed. So by controlled, I mean, it should go in the places where you think it really should go. If you're coloring a brick, make it look like a brick with the color or the shade. Things like scribbling and rushing and incomplete coloring are not going to be good for you, okay? It's not going to help your artwork. Creativity is always important. Creativity is a hard one to grade, and it's a hard one to think about. But here's some ways that you can show being creative. Add unique details. So think about something different to add. Different features for the buildings. Like they're a little bit complex, they're not too simple. Other picture details like people or a background. Animals maybe, plants. Shading, you can show skill and creativity through through creative shading and details that you add with the shading. And then any other inventiveness that you can think of shows creativity. And then craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is about finished quality. So it's finished, you've paid attention to all areas of the artwork, it's undamaged, like the paper is undamaged. It's not all ratty and torn up and bent, and shows careful effort and attention. That's usually evident by what you see in the work. You don't always have to be the best artist or the most talented, but you can be careful and you can put in effort and you can show attention to detail, and that'll help you be successful with all of this, okay? All right. I hope I was clear with the guidelines and expectations and the things that you're going to be graded on and the steps that you need to take. You guys, since we're not in class, make sure that you email me and ask questions and ask for feedback. I'd love to help you out with this, but I need you to email me about that, okay? All right, good luck, have fun, try to be creative, and I will talk to you later. Bye.